Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of CryptoCast. I am your host, Frankie. Tonight we sit down with Daboosh from Comb. It's a node project over on FTM with big visions and metaverse plans. That's a pretty interesting conversation that I'm really excited to share with you all. So enjoy. Thank you. Let's get started with identify your project. Let us know who you are, a little bit about what you do, and what your plans are for your project.
Yes. So hello, my name is Sam. I also go by the Boosh. I have a growth and product here at Comb Financial. A little like one liner for Comb Financial is that we offer blockchain services on the Phantom network. And these services range from being a NAS protocol, just known as a service. Um, and we're looking to on kind of release a lot more financial services. But one main thing that I would say that's going to kind of separate us is that we're actually creating our own metaverse, and it's called Hyperverse, which is going to be a 3D world where you as a user can interact with, and hopefully as iterations go by, we're integrating protocols. One protocol that we're actually integrating is going to be our first one. Is on actually AVEX is the red light node district. We're going to create a 3D mansion. Yeah, it's actually so that's going to be really cool. They're going to be our first guinea pigs. As far as I don't want to say guinea pigs because I feel like it's a weird connotation with it, but essentially, we're gonna have like as we kind of get out of our because gameplay is out and we have beta testers at this given moment. So a user like as the next room can open up can actually go into we're hoping it can be um, like kind of a mansion depending on how we're gonna kind of design it. But they're giving us like renderings and then we're gonna kind of apply that to our hypers. I would say.
So, the red light district in Amsterdam is
Yeah.
where all the prostitutes are. So, are we talking metaverse
I guess,
prostitutes?
I guess that's what we're gonna find out, right? And I think
I mean, you might be onto something here.
I think I'm gonna have a subscription service, and I think you're gonna buy into that, Frankie. Like no, I'm kidding, but no, it's I don't. So we have to see like so the design that we were thinking is like as like a joint partnership between us between our protocols was called a play bee. Was it like the route we were going with? Now we're gonna have kind of like maybe it'd be like kind of a joint NFT. Um, so we're still working out what like they're sending us renderings, but right now imagine just a 3D mansion because
Okay.
our world is 3D. So a lot of like metaverses that are out or just games are 2D, and 2D is kind of like the Pokemon kind of games that are out there where you click like RuneScape. Those are kind of like 2D. Ours is
Mhm.
more 3D. Well, ours is 3D, and right now we're just having beta users testing around. What I can do is I don't know have you guys seen gameplay of it or no?
I haven't, no. This is
What
the
I
first
can
time I'm hearing
do
about it.
actually,
If you've
if
got
you guys
something you can screen share, we
Yeah,
can,
that's what I'm saying. I can actually show it to you guys if you want.
yeah, that'd be awesome.
Let me.
So are you
Yeah.
going to be able to like be a digital pimp in this metaverse, or is this
Okay.
purely solicitation, or am I getting it all
So
wrong?
you're going. So the beauty of just creating a game is the possibilities are endless, right? That's the beauty of having a game.
So you're not
And
ruling it out
well, as
because
far as whatever you want to
digital
do,
pimping is looking like,
there's not gonna be
future
digital
that.
pimp, right, bro? But it's gonna be like because you got to think about our side is we're kind of creating we're. Let me just show it to you so you can kind of see.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah, sure.
that's where we need to kind of start. It's hard to describe it. You have to see it. It's the best way to word it.
Today's episode is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Internet service providers in the US have been known to sell data to ad companies. In the UK and Australia, internet service providers are required to keep logs of the websites you visit. Certain countries even restrict and censor certain websites and content. And as all of you know, security and privacy are paramount when it comes to cryptocurrency. ExpressVPN is the industry standard that puts a stop to all of it while ensuring the security and privacy of not only your browsing history, but your wallet connections. Utilizing data encryption and IP masking, ExpressVPN gives users peace of mind no matter what part of the world you're in. Our listeners can go to expressvpn.com/Louverture, LOUVERTURE. That's expressvpn.com/Louverture to see how you can receive 3 months free of the best VPN subscription service available. It is now.
You see this?
Yep.
Perfect. So this is beta testing right now. So we have users from our community that are kind of testing it. So the whole essence is you're in your hive right now, right? So I'm walking around. So what I'm going to do is kind of just try to describe it. So it's your like your skin manager desk. We're going to kind of fix this and make this a little bit prettier so you kind of understand what it is. But
Mhm.
the whole idea behind this is this is where like your skins are going to be, and skins are going to be like your NFTs. And essentially, the first room is your hive, right? You're going to interact within this hive. You can see the comb token, or that's Nectar, one with the orange at the bottom. And then I know it's kind of hard to see because they're so yellow, but let me go in this angle to get a better angle. So you see that you're going to see that's the comb token itself, the symbol, and you can kind of see like your rewards, and you can claim it. You can go create a hive over here, but this is where you're just interacting within your hive, right? And this is like right now we have users from community beta testing, which is awesome. Now, once we open up this room, this is where things get really nice. This is when we start integrating like our decks that we have use is Spirit Swap. So imagine like an NPC, right? And the NPC is going to be like a little spirit, and you interact with that spirit, and then that's like as far as you interacting with the decks, if you want to swap or any of that nature. Now, so what we're doing is with red light is we're going to create once the next room is going to be kind of like there's going to be a mansion, right? And that's where depending on what we place in that mansion, just depends on what our teams we like to keep things accessible and like PG. So we'll see what's going to be in there, but you can kind of see your avatar is kind of basic right now. So there's a lot of room for growth as far as like customization goes for your cosmetics. But that's where it gets interesting, and this is one aspect where I thought would be really cool with LVT would be because you guys have a very gamey kind of logo. So it would be like a hanging thing over here where users can interact. And the reason we're doing it with red light is because we're also creating a bridge. And this is just a bridge to bring over assets from, like Terra, like provide more liquidity for Phantom. So this is
Mhm.
a kind of a bridge. So we're going to be using, seeing where, so their token symbol is Playmates. So we're going to be testing with Playmates and just kind of creating our bridge system, which is really nice. But yeah, that's
You'll
kind of
be
like,
able to swap comb tokens for playmates and whoever else you bring into the metaverse.
yeah. So that's so right now our goal is exactly. So we're integrating like dexes within Phantom, but when we start having when we start having like get the renderings from Playmates or Red Light, that's where we're going to start kind of actually creating it. And if there's a way where we can bridge, so we can bridge like just commodities over, right? But we're trying to think of a way. This is where it gets really technical. If there's a way we can bridge, because they're trying to create their own like their own game too, but their game is 2D. So we're trying to think of that's like this is like talking more of the future, right? So instead of talking about the future, I would say let's talk about what we're doing now. What we're doing now is just the testing in this phases. We're gonna have like the Spirit Swap and NPC rollout where you can kind of do swaps, and obviously NFTs, and then also create our nodes, aka hives, turn into NFTs as well. Um, but it gets really nice because when the beauty of just having an NFT or an NFT in a game is like the possibilities are like truly endless, right? Like, and what I mean by that is like we can create and put whatever we want into this world. This is like going to be kind of a hub, is like the way I want to I would say I envision this place. And this is one of my favorite features that we're having for Chrome. Even though this isn't even the most important feature, right? The most important feature is the Z I mentioned prior to you guys, because that's really what's going to make this protocol sustainable and here for years. And but this is one of those features that you can truly just keep building off of it and keep just making it a whole new world. Like that's like would be super nice, like especially with like DAOs, the whole system of having like, a DAO in place. Imagine this could be a hub where users can connect, and then there's a stage where you can go up, like suppose this podcast right now, and you can have a stage in this verse where you guys can come up and people can sit down and listen, kind of a virtual hangout spot. Obviously, this is like we're talking like more and more in the future, but I want to plant that seed in your brain so you guys can kind of start seeing the bigger picture here and seeing like this is really the route that Comb is going with, right? Like I hate for us to always be associated, like with just passive income and all that stuff, because we don't want to be associated as like just as yields, right? We want to be associated as tech because we're a tech company at the end of the day, and um, that's really what separates us from a lot of protocols is our dev team. And we just want to keep building really, really nice products and just kind of go from there. Like, like this is one of the things I just love because like we can just have NPCs, and as you interact with the NPC, that's where you can get into a game. So one beautiful thing about being on Phantom is Phantom has developed this culture of horror around it, right? And there's really no horror game on Phantom that I can like kind of just comes up to just comes to my mind, right? They've developed like this whole culture of just horror around it, right? Like
Hmm.
Scream, Grim, Reaper, all these protocols on Phantom that just have this like, this horror thing around it. So what we wanted to kind of create too, that's a possibility, and just, we don't want to rule this out, is like, like as you kind of go into other rooms, you can kind of start playing games. And these games can like when you talk to an NPC or whatever it is, you can start playing like go into another like an actual like, an actual game where you can kind of play and like interact with in like a game in like an actual game manner. Like this is still a game, but it's a 3D world, right? So what we want is do you guys kind of understand what I'm saying when you're like interacting with an NPC and that
Yeah.
NPC just throws it like puts you in like a different, I would say like another UI shows up and you're like playing and it's your avatar, but you're playing a game, whether
Mhm.
it's like you walking like, it just depends on what we want to create with it. But it's that's where it gets kind of cool. Um and yeah, I would say this is a very brief intro, right? There's a lot more
So
iterations after this, but go ahead.
you being a node protocol is the node aspect is kind of secondary, or that's what it looks like to me. The metaverse, the hiveverse that you're creating is your primary objective here.
So our primary objective is to be a protocol that offers just a fleet of financial services, I would say. Um,
That you
our-
interact with in a unique way.
so that's up to you, right? So as a user, so one thing about like let's like let me get out of this like I post eggs. Let's get out of this. So like me as a user, right? We go on Stick, so app here, and just double check when you guys if like my recording shows, make sure like no person shows. But just FYI, just help a brother out at times. But so essentially, like this is our yield optimizer, right? So this itself, we're gonna maybe incorporate. I have to relay with the team if this. We're gonna have some aspect of this show, but I want the Hyverse is totally different. Like Hyverse is like this is just a 3D world where we kind of want to keep building off that. But our main objective is keeping this protocol sustainable.
Mhm.
The 3D world is not going to keep this protocol sustainable. That's just what's going to like for us. That's just because we like to build, and the possibilities are endless. For us, like our goal. It's a shame because we like especially our developing team, and this is the beauty of it. We just have a passion to build. Right at the end of the day, we just want to keep creating really cool products, and we just kind of want to keep just building off that and actually kind of like creating a whole new world. So to keep that viable, one feature that we released like a week ago was our buzzing vaults, which are yield optimizers. Now these are the top. These provide the top yield off Phantom, right? So if you're in Tomb, like this pool has the highest yield out of every Tomb Phantom vault throughout Phantom has the highest yield. Same with Tomb Phantom. We actually partnered up pretty soon with Tomb as well, so that's gonna be really neat. But these offer the best yields. And if you're invested in Comb and you're investing in these protocols, and these are really big, these Tomb is one of the biggest protocols on Phantom. I would say the biggest protocol on
I think it
Phantom.
is the biggest, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're invested in Tomb and you're also invested in Comb, it would directly benefit you because this isn't like we're not minting Comb for this, right? We're actually burning Comb. So all the fees we generate, mind you, there's no deposit withdrawal fees, but all the fees we're generating from here, goes directly back into burning Comb, right? Which will raise it, which deflates Comb. So the whole idea, and then like I said, we have like a 4 pillar plan of like how we're gonna make Comb sustainable and stay here for years, and it's awesome, right? Like for us, we're excited. That's the reason I'm showing my face, and the reason Moon is we've shown our faces, is because we have such belief in the system working. And but yeah, I would say like as far as our nodes go, we have one of the we had the top nodes. I would say I don't want to speak, but we have the top nodes in the game. I would say one of the top nodes. I don't want to say the best, right? Because there's only so many things that you can optimize. Like for us, like we go
Let's
here,
break down what your nodes do. What are the
yeah, like the tiers. You want to talk about tiers,
Yeah,
and then we talk about like the
yeah, let's
actual
jump into that.
Okay, so we have 4 different tiers. So our nodes are called hives. So this is actually one I created. Like for me, I actually I have a lot of This one's really special in my heart. And I'll kind of go through that one. So we have our first tier, which is Brompton. This is our cheapest tier. It costs only 3 and you get basically 0.025 rewards a day. Then we have our top bar hive. This was our first initial tier that we offered. We had 3 tiers in the beginning. We had top bar, we had Langstroth, and where. So where it costs 60, this is our biggest. This is our like, if you're a big boy, you're gonna go for this one, and you get 0.57 a day. Our ROI is about it ranges from 100 days from where to 100 like 20-ish to 25-ish with Brompton. And essentially and we had like the lowest reward rates for a time being, just because like we always want to make the protocol like we want to normalize like just keep having people have normalized like expectations or real not I'd say it's like it's I mean, tip of my tongue like I don't like we want people to have like 100 getting your money back within 125 days. It like to some people that's like, oh, I'm not going to invest. That's way too long to get my money back. Like, man, what? That's like
Yeah, no,
0.5.
that's
That's so
ridiculous.
insane. Yeah, exactly. In the real world, that's insane. Like,
Yeah,
if you can do that, we need to go to Wall Street. We'll get $1 million, 2 million, few $1 million bonus a year if we can get those returns. But
right.
people, because we're in this industry and because these insane yields were normalized, it's a shame because people start viewing like if you don't provide like if you, even if like suppose like we cut rewards down by half, right? And we have to kind of think like, okay, I mean, like sure, this is I don't think this is not a linear graph, right? So it's like just because of compounding, if you choose a compound, but like even if you let's say you cut down your rewards and say that your time is double, the duration is double as far as your ROI. And suppose your ROI was 100 days. 200 days, like people would be like, that's just too long. And it makes sense because it's so youthful. This industry is so youthful that 200 days is a long time. It's in DeFi, that's like 5 years.
Right.
So it's like, but yeah, but just going through this, all the hives, they there's no one does not provide better utility. Now we're gonna have like NFTs associated with this one just because of like out of good faith for the holders. But the main reason you'd go for the bigger hives is because your ROI is better. But that does not mean just because you have a lower tier hive that you do not get the same utility as the higher hives. That's just bad business on my end, right? So the reason I really like Brompton is because I realize like our price is 245 or $44, right? So for us, like you as a user, 240 to $250 for one comb, and then it's coming down to here. You're talking like an 800, like 750, $800 investment at this current market value, right? For one Bronfen hive. And fortunately, I am from the States, so my wages, are the wages here are higher. So someone like that might be from the States can be able to like be like, you know what, let's just throw $800 into this.
Mhm.
Or someone, so the reason we kind of went into this was like in the beginning, right? Because our price action has rose since then. And this is one aspect I really like about LVT is you get like people can kind of come in and create nodes. Just, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
accessibility is one of our, we've had
Yeah.
tons of people calling for us to raise the price, and the answer is no. We want
Well,
anybody anywhere in the world to be able to participate. So
yeah. And that's,
um, we're
yeah.
not going to change that anytime soon.
No, yeah. And that just mess with tokenomics too, So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, so we had the three, and then I wanted to make it a little bit more accessible. But there comes a point where now we have to get creative. We're gonna right now for us, we're actually rolling out implementing ways that users can invest in Comb. It doesn't have to be through notes, right? And that's not through the vaults, by the way. That's through our Z, right? I can't give away too many information about the Z, but that's where like I say is the holy grail because for us like that's really comes dear to me because for me I want to make this as accessible as possible, not as just investing, but just like as reaching this platform, right? Like Phantom, if you know how to navigate through networks, you already beat like 80% of like as the sort of knowledge goes,
Oh
like
yeah.
70%.
Yeah,
Like not only
bridging
that,
alone is like the most difficult thing I have to teach people when they're getting into it.
yes. Do
And
you
if they
remember
don't
the
get it after an hour, then I just give up and tell them to go to the
yeah,
stock market or buy some Bitcoin on Cash App. But
yeah, like do
yeah,
you remember yeah. You guys remember your first time bridging? Like I remember it. I remember like actually my
oh
first
yeah.
time trying like through networks, it was such a bitch, right? It was like what the heck? But when you did it, you had this gratification. And then what happened was like the moment I bridged and utilized like just a different network is when I fell in love with DeFi because it's like, and it wasn't just because of the speed, but it was because like I was like, wow, like I didn't care about spending 100, $200 in gas fees before, right? Because you just thought that was normal. Like if you're on the
Right.
Ethereum mainnet, you're like, oh, $200, $100, you're just trying to get into a trade. And then, but this is just you just like, trading. You're not like thinking it's bad, or you're just kind of going to the FOMO in the beginning, right?
Mhm.
And then this went through my side. Like, I'm not assuming everybody did was like a degen ape like me in the like, a year ago, right? But basically you'd be like, oh, there's a call, let me get in this call. But as like these new networks kind of start blowing up this past year and you kind of start going on it, like AVEX, Phantom, Solana, um, Polygon, you start saying like, wow, these are much better networks. So I'm actually looking forward to ETH 2.0. I want to see what um because if that rolls out, then that's gonna be we're gonna see what happens. But if it doesn't, then our networks are gonna blow up. Um, but essentially, going back to this, the reason why I like Devronton is because there's two ways. It's the cheapest one. So if you don't have that much to invest in, you you you're still able to and still take part of the journey of passive income, right? Which is nice. At the same time, if you're an investor, but you're like, you know what, it's your first time getting exposed to Comb, and you're like, I don't know, I don't really want to go into the top bar because it's 3x compared to Bronson. So you're like, you know what, let me just put a smaller bag into it and let me just see how that pans out. And that's one of the main reasons too I liked it is because like for me, I want I want investors. I don't want traders as far as like our customers go, right? I want people that are believing income, believing the vision. And so I want to make it as accessible as possible. But given our price action tokenomics, I can't like I don't want we can't change it up, right? It's one of those situations we just gotta get creative. And that's where I love about innovating, right? So one aspect that we released, but these are like some stuff that we released like prior, before. So one good thing is like obviously all our nodes have endpoints. We're speeded up. But one cool thing that we implemented, like these are weeks ago, man. But we have like servers in the States and we have servers in the Europe and the EU. So depending on where you're from, you kind of click in and see which, where you want to go and you can kind of see it from here.
Okay.
Just depending on what server you want to be hosted with. But what's actually beautiful about I would say because there's only so much you can do as far as optimizing our nodes, and we'll keep doing that, right? Um, but we've optimized it so much in the beginning that like this is what we're talking like we did this a month and a half, like a month ago, right? And we're just completely moved on the next phase. But essentially, we create a universal endpoint. Now, the beauty of this endpoint is you see how like there's different endpoints that you offer, right? So depending on how many hives you have, you're gonna have an endpoint associated to each hive. Now, the whole idea behind an endpoint is the universal endpoint is the load balancing system, right? So like the load balancer. So essentially, if one is too congested, it's gonna automatically switch to whatever is the best, whichever is the most optimal out of all your endpoints, and that's where it gets kind of cool. And then also like obviously, this just helps with the network. And that was a huge aspect. That was like one of our pillars that we wanted to achieve was to really help Phantom. For us, like we really like that. And a milestone goal that we hit like about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, was achieving the Phantom validator. So that was a huge goal that we wanted to do. And we achieved that. And then we're like, okay, now is the next what's now it's time to achieve goal number two, right? So that was awesome because now we're actually, supporting network. We're actually validating all transactions and we're getting a yield from that. The yield might not be much, but it's a utility. And the fact is that we're only here if Phantom stays, right? So it's like, and that's the beauty. And we're really gung ho about the network. And yeah, so it's a good way of like paying back as far as like, what you love, I would say. But that's kind of like, I don't know, like kind of a quick little thing. I don't know. Have you guys heard about our Nectar though? Like, do you guys know about Neck or no?
I don't. Give us a little breakdown of it.
Yeah. So Nectar. So mind you, these aren't comp. This is just through me compounding. I've never even like I don't know. I can get my wallet out actually, and you guys can see I've never actually sold any comb or put it back in any of this stuff because I was so gun. Oh, I just compounds at the beginning. But so Nectar essentially is our innovative compounding token. So what this
Okay.
does is you can basically compound. So okay, so actually this you have a visual. So if I want to go comb, there's liquidity behind comb, so I can trade comb. But because, everything has a tax, Uncle Comb is coming after you, right? So Uncle Comb is going to take a piece of the pie. He's going to take about 3.21 Comb tokens as, a tribute to the protocol. And that goes obviously back into, the protocol, aka the investors. But we created a unique system, right? Like for us, like we want to dedicate. I've said it from the beginning. We value investors highly. We don't want to penalize you for believing in us, right? We want to incentivize you. So Nectar was an innovative compound system. We rolled out with this like a long time ago too. And this is what like I think I was like wish I elaborate a lot more with this because we actually have a lot of cool features that a lot of people just don't know about, right? But everybody that's invested in it is like that's why everybody's like Comb is an underdog or Comb like until it breaks out because we released a lot of things that a lot of programs are just behind in tech, right? We're not behind in tech, but this is truly like beautiful because it's one of those things that you can actually because there's no liquidity associated with it. This is directly used for compounding purposes at this given moment. Now, the moment the Hybrids comes out, we're going to come out with extra utility behind this. But to have the utility for you to compound and not get penalized, and you're believing in the protocol is it's awesome. At the same time, we're rewarding. There's like we're a game, right? At the end of the day, we like all aspects of like games. You have the gratification. If I want to compound right now, I can compound the next 4 hours, right? So it's like every epoch you're going to get, rewards and you can compound. It just, obviously just doesn't make any sense to paying gas fees, but you can compound every single second of the day if you want to. Not every second, but every epoch and you get rewards, right?
So
And that's what
this Nectar doesn't have a use case yet. So you're basically betting on the future of the protocol when you
no, it does.
compound.
No,
Oh, it does.
so when you create a hive, you can create it in Nectar, or
Oh, okay.
so you can create. So essentially, the use case is you're it's pegged 1-to-1 with Comb. So
Okay.
Nectar, so essentially, yeah, but you can't. The whole purpose of it is you avoid Uncle Comb. That's it. Right now, given the purpose of it at the given moment is to avoid Uncle Comb. What's also nice is we have a wrap function, so you can wrap your Comb into Nectar, and when you wrap it, that's when you can like send it between MetaMask wallets and send it between friends and just kind of go back and forth. But mind you, the whole purpose of Nectar is for you to create nodes at the given moment. And
It
then
can't be abused by traders, basically, if
exactly,
there's no liquidity.
exactly, because we're invested. Yeah, exactly. You're seeing the picture. Yeah. And at the same time, we want to, we have further implementation for this. But yeah, that's the purpose of Nectar, and that's that was awesome. But yeah, that's kind of like some cool little new stuff that we have, I would say. Um, yeah.
So when you talk about sustainability and investments with the Treasury, what are you guys doing with the Treasury outside of the validator node? Have you made any other investments, or you're investing it back into the protocol?
Yes.
How is the protocol making money right now and returning that
Yes.
money to investors outside of Ponzi?
Yes. So right now, besides the validator, everything that we create, uh, like I would say, we have features that we keep launching out that help the protocol make money. An example is a yield optimizer I showed you.
Mhm.
That itself, feeds back into uh, just Comb, right? Generate that every day that generates revenue for us. Now, what we're doing as far as investments are going is we're actually saving our liquidity. Like I was kind of explaining before, we want to treat Comb as like a normal business that's outside of, just because it's in DeFi doesn't mean it's, we should, be treating it separate, right? The profits that we have or liquidity that we have, we're actually saving it for, a really good investment. And that's why we onboarded, like I said, a brilliant team. That's a huge, like so we have a QA guy now, and we also have an investor, right? So the whole idea behind it is we want to actually make very strategic moves as far as trades will go in the future because DAS is a beautiful concept and it's going to work, right? Like we see it work in traditional, like we see it work in commercial and centralized finance. So there's no reason why it shouldn't work in decentralized, right? But the thing is you need to have skilled individuals that actually know what they're doing as far as that would go. And that's why like our whole team has specific, functions for it. But to answer your question, like concrete, so there's a solidified answer. We have made investments in the past, and we have like recuperated, or we actually a few of them were positive with. But the main idea we're doing since moving forward is we're actually like our biggest purchase was a validator, which is like over $1 million,
Yeah.
but it was 500,000 fans, and it was huge. And I would say for the time being right now, we're focusing our liquidity on just putting it right back into the business and making sure that Comb is, sustainable and just works, right? Like we want to keep building and having having the liquidity just in case of anything that happens is just very worthwhile for us because we're still like every protocol right now is in that startup phase. So having that liquidity just for the sake while you keep building and keep providing ways of like what I like to say is some people are investing their money elsewhere and that's how they're seeing returns. We're creating products and features inside of Comb, and it's like because Comb is its own ecosystem, and your interest is through Comb, and those products like the yield optimizer is an avenue that's providing us investment returns, if that makes sense, right?
So yeah,
So,
you're not just doing DOS. You're
yeah,
getting
so,
into the metaverse. You're doing some DOS stuff. You're doing NOS.
so DOS,
Uh,
so DOS like DAS are that's going to come in the future. And what I mean by
okay.
and the reason I say that is because I feel like this stage is so youthful, where everything is still in the infant stage. So I think it's more worthwhile for protocols to focus on innovation, and through innovation and utility is where the value of your token is going to come from, in my opinion, right? And
Mhm.
that's just it. This is a tech business at the end of the day, right? We need to focus on providing the best tech out there, and the beauty of it is so through our system like that we're rolling out with the Z, we're intertwining everything together, right? And that's where it's going to be really, really nice for it. But as far as implementing the DAS feature, we're gonna do that. Um, we're gonna wait. For us, we rather focus on innovation for the time being, and then once other protocols and other just other, it doesn't have to be DeFi, even like the real world. Once that kind of settles down, we have like actual strategic moves behind it. That's when we're going to roll through with it. We're not going to just throw money into like stronger any like thing that just people throw money into because everybody's doing it. And when people do that, you're as an investor, you have better returns just investing in those protocols,
Yeah,
not
you
going
could
through
do
that.
it yourself.
Yeah,
I feel
there's
pretty
like
strongly about that.
yeah,
There's
like
a lot of pressure on us to get a strong node or
yeah,
throw it in time or whatever. And other people are doing that. It's working. That's fine. We'd like to do something else. We're
exactly.
taking a very similar approach with LVT. We have our yield farming team, and there's a portion of the treasury that's allocated specifically to them to make investments. And we've got our venture capital efforts that are going to be taking shape pretty soon here. So I really like that approach. You're not
Yeah.
just sucking yourself into one, you know, NOS or DOS or whatever you want to call it. You mentioned you're partnering up with Red Node District. Um,
So yes.
is there going to be like a financial relationship there that's mutually beneficial that pays back your investors, or is it just bringing them into the metaverse? How's that
Yeah.
going to work?
So we still gotta sit down and I would say talk between both like just between us. They're a great group of guys, and there's also a female on the team, so group of guys and girls. Um, and so the whole idea behind it is like I said, we're focusing on like creating a bridge, provide like more liquidity to Phantom. And this bridge isn't like bridging them verses together, right? The first bridge that we're creating is like we want to bridge like Terra, but at the same time we want to provide like AVIX assets. And we thought to ourselves that okay, a good way since our protocols are kind of very like we're going kind of a similar route. Let's create a bridge, literally and figuratively, um, instead of building a wall, right? So for us, that's kind of one of the main routes too that we're kind of doing. Like I said, we're a tech company, and if we can utilize um, other protocols on different networks as kind of a way to test. But mind you, like the testing is very like it's like we test it prior extremely, and then that's when we open it up to other protocols. But to have like like a situation where we can have another protocol to rely on as far as like, okay, let's like see if this works on your guys' end, and at the same time provide exposure for both protocols, um, for like what we offer and what we're going to offer. I think it's awesome. Same time, they're very innovative and open to products, right? That's what's really nice is it's like talking to a friend. It's like, hey, like we're thinking about doing this. Do you think it's possible on your guys' end? And for them, it's like, yeah, man, let's make it happen. And that's
Mhm.
what I like because it's like, you know what, like let's just build this and let's see if it works. And it's not like that either. It's not like let's just throw something random and go in there. But it's like we want to build and they want to build too. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay, let's
collaboration's important.
exactly. And
There's
that's
too
where
many projects that want to wall themselves off from everyone else, and
yeah.
there's plenty of room for people to work together.
Exactly. And both of our teams, as far as developing goes, we're pretty much doxed, you know, as far as like the devs go as well, which is, important. So like, so that's where we can actually start like, because to be honest, like David Moss kind of said it the best, he's like, was pissed at other protocols. He had something really nice, which is like, um, the barrier to entry in this industry is tech, something in that along that line, which is, he's on the nose with. And that's like, I don't know, I kind of like that because it is true because blockchain is just it's the next iteration, it's Web 3.0, right? Web 4.0 even. So like it's like this is where like we're it's nice. It's really awesome because this is like we're all a part of the next like the next big thing, and like you're part of like you're potentially part of a project that can change the world, right? And that's where it gets really nice. And that's why like we love to um, kind of have investors that believe in our vision of like what we're gonna try to plan on doing for a protocol. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say like we never want to have like a financial incentive or like sure there's gonna be some maybe we might think of ways to financially incentivize, but the whole idea behind is like is it's more so um like focusing on our creative natures and being like we're gonna do this, and if there's a way we can like make it work out between both another, then yeah, of course. Like there's not gonna be any fees that we're taking from one another. That's just, that's not gonna doesn't do anybody justice. It's more so like, all right, we need this is the next feature we're trying to roll out. If you guys want to be part of it, let us know. If not, there's no harm, no foul, right? Like we're gonna still build at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And but yeah, like I would say like perhaps like something that like I was saying we're working on is a joint NFT. So that's, I would say, an incentive for um, the investors that are investing in both protocols. It's a play bee, right? It actually works out pretty well. So we're having the designs kind of set up for that. And also, like obviously in the Hiveverse, you're going to have we're creating the 3D mansion. So that's I think we literally just got the renderings today or tomorrow. We're going to get them,
Oh, cool.
and once we have the renderings, that's when we can actually start building, actually creating that next room out. So you as an investor, if you're investing in both, you have access to it. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans or alpha you wanted to share? Get out there.
I would say so we have I think it's a Z, right? I'll give us a little bit more. Can't give too much info, but I'll say what the Z is. It's the holy grail. It's we cracked the I want to say crack the code, but we kind of did for what's going to make comb because everything's tailored, right? What
Mhm.
works for us won't work for you because it's just tokenomics. We cracked the code for what's going to make comb sustainable through our end. And this is a long term play too, right? No matter what, long term, this is that's what's really nice is like we're very, very, very like excited for this. Um, at the same time, like that's where the whole Z army is going to come up to play. Like it was really
Mhm.
nice 'cause today was we actually did the NFT giveaway. We released that today with Red Light, and that's that was really nice blowing up. It's the biggest giveaway that was just in DeFi in history. Like the giveaway, like
Oh,
did you guys see
wow.
the giveaway or no?
I haven't had a chance to see it yet.
Yeah, the giveaway. So they're giving away one of their red light, like they're like I think they only have one set of NFTs. But they're giving away this I don't know what the specific NFT is. It's just like let's just say that their red light node NFT. Um this NFT is right now trading at a floor price for like 229 AVEX tokens.
Oh
as of
wow.
yesterday, right? And that increases every day. So it's like worth like 22, 23,000, and that's just their NFT.
Is there
Uh,
just one of these? Is it a special edition or is there multiple out there
no,
in the
so
world?
they minted, I believe, 200,
Okay.
and and there's also utility behind it. So it's cosmetic, but at the same time, that NFT reason why it's worth so much is that it provides 25% increase on all nodes, which is insane. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
boost.
yeah, that's a phenomenal boost, man. Imagine having a 25% increase on all your nodes, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Um, and then we're like, okay, let's and this is why I love the guys too. It's because I was like, damn, 20. I was like, damn, what is that trading at this? And then we're like, okay, now we got to kind of match, and we got to think of ways to get creative. So we have our NFT, like when I showed you Hyverse, ours was cosmetic. And then we're like, you know what? Let's make this a little bit interesting. And now we're added the 1% increase across all our hives. It's not much, but 1% is still substantial.
Mhm.
If you have a lot of nodes, right? And ours is actually priceless. We've minted like, let's say less than like 25, 24, you know,
Okay.
and like they would go to the team members if that. And like protocols we partner, like that was the whole idea behind it. Was like, you know what, this is an extremely exclusive, and this is our first set of NFTs. So this is like one of those things that if you have this is like it's a big deal, and that's what we really want to have. We want to have that as be a value. So like at minimum, let's say if our NFTs sell for nothing, this giveaway is worth like over 22K for one person, right?
Wow.
And now, so it's life changing money, and we released it this morning. And what's funny is we're planning an even bigger one in the future, just because we're like, you know what, that's what's awesome about I don't know, financial freedom is the ability to give back. But when it
Yeah.
comes down to this, it's like let's give back to the community members or just people in general that really they're like really the ones that made it happen. Um, and at the same time, like I understand that this does go to one individual. And that's going to change that one potential. I hopefully change that individual's life, right, for the best. Hopefully it goes to the right person. And then for us, we're also rolling out, I guess, an alpha as well, just because we're relating back into like giveaways, is we're creating a charity pool. Um,
Okay.
and that's an implementation we're rolling out. So Key and Stinky, the two members of our team that have the podcast, um, they're going to be running that initiative. But the whole idea behind it is that we want to bring positivity into this space, and basically the whole this is where like the community can kind of decide like where the funds, like if it's going to be weekly disbursements. That's what we're doing. So where like these funds will be dispersed to, whether it's like homeless shelter, whether it's like protocols that got just down, investors, it's just whatever the community gets to decide. And that's where it gets really nice, is because like when you're part of something, and that's the whole beauty of decentralization, is you have a say of where it goes. So it's like when you're actually part of something and you see and you like the direction it's going, then you're like, that's where you just kind of build like that use that support, like, which is super nice. It's really nice. And I'm very fortunate that our community is super supportive. Um, and they're even willing to do that. That was a suggestion that was made by one of our community members, Cass, who's actually a mod now, uh, like a month ago. And we're like, you know what, that's actually really nice. And then given what happened with time and everything happening that was just so bad in the space, we're like, you know what, we need to put some positivity in this space. So
Yeah.
that's why we kind of rolled out with that. And then also it's a really good chance for other protocols, like say LVT. I know Atlas reached out to us about it, and having like an interest and having a pool, like having an investment, just because for them. At the same time, as all of us become legal entities, these are donations, right? So this will become a tax write-off for us as well. But it's one of those things that it becomes a really nice. It's a good incentive, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where everybody wins, and
Yeah.
that's what's really nice about it. But yeah, no, that's I would say, like, but our biggest alpha is like we're releasing uh, the Z. That's going to come out really soon. I would say within a week or two. The
Okay.
actual action release. However, the concept is going to be released. I would believe this upcoming week, and then our Hyverse, so our Metaverse, is going to be released really soon. And we're actually, we're at phase one testing. So users, like we're having users that are in the community, uh, win, like basically they're winning like beta access, so they can like kind of access what I showed you guys, and they can kind of run through it, play around with it, get their hands dirty, and kind of give us like feedback on like what works, what doesn't. and what we should do. And then as a creators from our end, we're gonna go, okay, does this make sense, or no, this would be a bad idea. But so that's another aspect. But besides that, that's kind of what we're mainly working on. And obviously, like we submitted an audit for our yield optimizers. We're hearing back from that as well, which is super nice.
Okay.
But yeah, like we're really excited with the direction we're flowing as far as like the next like 2 weeks, I would say. We have some really cool stuff coming out.
Well, it looks like we need to pay attention.
Man, I'm serious. I do think that there's a really good possibility for collaboration with like all it takes is just once you guys understand like what we're trying to roll out. It's one of those situations where like we're not trying to like there's no like I don't say competition because we're going on our own road and like our own route. So like when you start seeing like, oh, they're kind of implementing this, and you got to see like, okay, there's a possible way of actually making like something work here, like that's where it gets nice, and just having people kind of get more exposed to our protocol and see like all the features that we offer. Really kind of it shows you that there's a lot of things out there that people just kind of like turn a blind eye on. I think mainly a lot of that is mainly just due to like people just being invested into one thing, and they're just only like kind of praying for that one thing to pan out. But that's
at the end of the day, we're not really competing in this space. The only real similarity we have is that we started as a node project.
Exactly.
And neither one of us, LVT or you guys, that's not our main focus.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's plenty of room for collaboration going forward as we all grow our projects. And
I just hate being, it sucks because we started as nodes, and nodes probably, right? Quotes. Now
and none of us are actually nodes.
Well, before, but now we are. But essentially, so then we get classified as, like fake nodes or any of that stuff prior, and you kind of have that stigma associated with you, which is really sad, because we're trying to really innovate and make a difference in this space, and to shoot a project down because of, not even doing research on the other end, right? Just because that's just naiveness sometimes, right?
It becomes team sports at the end of the day. My project's better than your project, not from a developer point of view, but from an investor point of view. You've got, you're invested in one, so you're going to fight to the death for that project, and you don't care what happens to the other ones. Where the reality is, if you take a step back and look at it all of these projects are doing something differently. They all maybe started the same way, but we're all taking our different roads, different places, and there's plenty of room to collaborate. So I'm definitely excited for the future of this space, and I'll be paying attention to Comb for sure.
Thank you. But yeah, man, that pretty much sums up everything on my end. I don't know if there's any final like questions that you guys may have.
I think we're good.
But alrighty, guys, fellas, I enjoyed this. I look forward to
that's great.
Awesome. Talk soon, buddy.
All right, Sam. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Later.